Guys, welcome back to my channel. This is Pashvika. Welcome to Global Mixing Page channel where we make content for artists and creative entrepreneur. In today's video, guys, we're gonna be talking about Zazzle, the text related question for Zazzle, because I've seen many people are in confusion about the text related question, how much text you need to pay for selling on Zazzle as being a designer. So I'm going to be diving into important text related question in this video. So let's dive in. Before going back, consider clicking the like button, guys. I do really appreciate that. If you want more such video, consider subscribing, hit the bell icon, so whenever we upload new videos, you'll be get notified about it. Also, we have a lot of the free resources to help you make more money. The link is in the description box below, guys. And also, guys, you can support me and my channel by signing on the Patreon. The link of the Patreon in the description box below. I would really appreciate that if you support me and my channel by signing into the Patreon. And also, you can subscribe to our email newsletter. It's 100% free. The link is in the description box below. Let's talk about text related question for Zazzle. Now, before that, guys, I want to place over here a disclaimer. There is a big disclaimer. I'm not from text background. I'm not a financial expert or finance expert. So please, whatever I'm saying in this video, take all the things with a grain of salt, because I'm saying based on my own experience and knowledge so far with my own experience as being a designer on Zazzle. So please take my advice with a grain of salt, because I'm not from a background. So this is an important disclaimer. Let's talk about the text related question. Well, there are the two most important things, whether you are a US citizen or whether you are non-US citizen. So basically the text related stuff is divided into two basic criteria. If you are based in United States and you are a United States citizen, and you have an SSN number or EIN number, employee identification number, whatever number you have, then the text criteria for those people is different. But if you are a non-US citizen and you don't have an SSN or EIN, don't have one, you're a non-US person, then the text is different. So I'm going to be dividing these text criteria according to it, and I'm going to be explaining how you want to proceed further with these two particular situations. Whether you are a US person, then it's a different situation. If you're non-US, then it's a different. So I'm going to be covering everything related to that. So let's dive in with this particular thing. First of all, I'm going to be talking about, as being a US citizen, what are the different text criteria for being a seller on Zazzle. So text form for United States citizens. So that is the first criteria. Zazzle is required to report your annual earnings to IRS once they reach either $600 in referrals or $10 in royalties. Okay, if you have a US social security number, which I already talked about, that is the SSN, or employee identification number, that is the EIN number, generally issued to those living in the United States and to US citizens living abroad, and receive payments from Zazzle meeting or exceeding either of these thresholds during the previous calendar year, you will automatically receive a 1009 form. So if you are exceeding these particular royalties or referrals, or exceeding this limit, that is the $600 in referrals or $10 in royalties, and you're having a US SSN number, social security number, or you are having an employee identification number, that is an EIN, that is usually given to the US citizen that are living in the United States, or need to fill the form, that is 1099 form. So this is the form you have to fill if you are exceeding this particular threshold, and you have out of these two, whether SSN or EIN, then you have to fill the form, that is 1099 form, and according to it, your text will going to be taken from the payout that you're receiving from the Zazzle, because Zazzle has to submit or has to report the annual earnings to IRS. 099 form will contain all the legal information you're required to report to the IRS for your Zazzle earnings. These forms will be mailed to the address listed in your payment settings section within your Zazzle account. So if you lie under these criteria, then you have to fill the form, that is 1099 form, and they will going to give the legal information about you as being a US citizen in that particular form, and this form will going to be mailed to the address listed in your payment settings or section of your designer dashboard, and Zazzle will going to mail you to your address. If the total amount of the payments you receive from the Zazzle during the previous calendar year does not meet either of the above thresholds, the form will not be sent to you, as we are not required to report to. Haven't reached to this particular threshold. The threshold lies is that either you are having $600 in referrals or $10 in royalties. If you are a designer and you have made more than $10 in royalties and you are a US citizen, either having an SSN or either having an EIN number, then obviously you have to fill the 1099 form, and Zazzle will automatically going to send that particular form to your address, the address that you have mentioned in the payment settings of your designer dashboard. You didn't reach to that threshold. If you are having your royalties below the $10, then obviously you won't be receiving this particular form. As for the US citizen having an SSN number or EIN number and going above the threshold of $10 in royalties or $600 in referral, so that is for them. Let's talk about the tax forms for non-US citizen, that is an international designers. So I'm going to be talking about the W8 forms. What are these exactly and why is Zazzle required here? Let's talk about that, because that is really important if you're an international designer on Zazzle. So what is a W8 form and why do I need to complete a one? The IRS, a US governmental agency, requires Zazzle to collect W8 BEN forms from all the international pais to establish non-US residency status and to claim beneficial ownership of the income. So Zazzle will going to collect W8 BEN form for all the international designers on Zazzle. Okay, in accordance with US tax law, Zazzle will not process payments to non-residents unless a properly completed W8 BEN form is received. So if you are international designers selling on the Zazzle, you have to fill the W8 BEN form, and if you're not filling that correctly, then you may not be receiving your payout from Zazzle. This is really important if you're an international designer on Zazzle. That means you are a non-US citizen. You have to fill the W8 BEN form. You're gonna do that. Let's talk about that. So when you are going onto your payment setting on the Zazzle designer dashboard, you are listing your name, your address, and all those details. Zazzle will going to ask you whether you are a US citizen or whether you are a non-US citizen. So you have mentioned as non-US citizen, and the moment you mention the non-US citizen, the Zazzle will going to ask you to fill the W8 BEN form, and the form is already there on the Zazzle website. You just have to download that from the payment settings itself. Like, going to ask you whether you are a US citizen or non-US citizen. So you have filled that I am a non-US citizen, and then below that you're gonna see the W8 BEN form, which you can very well download from the Zazzle itself. You need to fill it out. W8 forms are used to determine the appropriate tax withholding rate that should be applied on the payments Zazzle sends to non-resident designers and associates. Once your W8 form is approved, Zazzle can start paying you either at the default 30% withholding rate imposed by the IRS, that's the Internal Revenue Service, or at a lower tax treaty rate if you reside in applicable countries. There is a lot of the information provided by the IRS W8 forms, which you can find on the IRS website as well. So once you have filled the form, by default, the tax rate is 30%. But if your country is having a tax treaty with the United States, then you would be having a lower tax rate. So depending on that tax treaty, you're gonna have a lower tax rate. But if you're not mentioning that thing in your W8 BEN form that your country is having a tax treaty with United States, if you're not mentioning that particular stuff in your W8 BEN form, then you're gonna be charged 30% from your Zazzle earnings. So make sure, check it out whether your country is having any tax treaty with United States or not. If it's having, then please mention that in the W8 BEN form so that you're gonna be charged less and you're gonna be charged at the appropriate amount, not the default 30% tax. So if there is having a tax treaty, then obviously you have to pay the less, maybe 15% or 20% only. So make sure you confirm that thing whether your country is having tax treaty with United States or not. If it's there, then please mention in the W8 BEN form so that you're gonna be charged less. Otherwise, you have to pay the 30%. The thing I want to talk over here about is what types of the W8 forms. That is also important if you are an individual or if you are a business entity. So in 2014, the IRS created multiple types of the W8 forms for different tax situations. Okay, all of the different different types of W-8 forms you can find on the US website. There's the IRS website. I'm going to leave the link in the description box below. Make sure you check it out. In Zazzle experience, the most commonly used W-8 forms are W-8 BEN forms for individuals. Okay, W-8 BEN forms for individuals and W-8 BENE forms for legal entities such as corporations and partnerships. So if you are an individual, if you don't have a business entity, then obviously you need to go with the W-8 BEN form. But if you're having a legal entities like corporations or partnerships, then obviously you have to go with the W-8 BENE forms. Other version of W-8 text forms are meant for other specific types of business entities, but basically you're gonna see these two types of the W-8 forms on a Zazzle website. So depending on whether you're filling with the individual or an entity. So what information do I need to fill in? That's also important. Levels of completed form that Zazzle will accept. The basic level and the second level. The basic level at the first and most basic level, providing all the information will enable Zazzle to begin processing your payment using the basic level. They're gonna take your full legal name, your first name and last name. Make sure you write it correctly. Don't miss out that particular thing. Otherwise, you will not going to receive your payout. They're gonna ask the country of citizenship, your full legal permanent address, including postal code if it's applicable, your date of birth, C form for format, your signature, your actual signature or certified electronic signature, the date you signed the form, your full printed name under your signature. So these are the basic levels of the things that you need to fill in the W-8 BEN form. Again, the information provided in the W-8 form should match the information that you have listed both in your Zazzle account payment settings and on the file with your go. Second level of completed form that Zazzle will accept is described. Talk about when you're mentioning the 30% as a withholding tax rate. But the second level is that is the second level. If your country is having a tax treaty with the United States, then you also need to fill the second level of the form, which I'm going to be talking now. So some countries have tax treaty with the United States that will allow for a tax rate that is lower than the default withholding tax rate, that is 30%. So if they are having a tax treaty rate, then you have to pay lower than 30%. For income types such as royalties, you can find a list of the countries that are currently have tax treaty with the United States and tax treaties themselves. So I'm going to leave the link of this particular section where you can check whether your country is having tax treaty with the United States or not. That link of that particular website in the description box below. So make sure you check out that link and you see whether your country falls in that tax treaty or not. The link is in the description box below. So residents of country that currently have a tax treaty with the US have the option of applying for lower tax rate with a default 30% under the treaty by filling out the following. So you have to fill out the tax treaty rate if you're having a one, and that is a major benefit that you would be charging very less if you're having a tax treaty. So I'm going to leave the link of the website in the description box below where you can check it out, whether all the information needed for basic acceptance is detailed. So you need to have all the basic level as well, and then you need to claim the section that is a claiming tax treaty benefits on your own. So you need to claim for that particular section that is a claiming tax treaty benefits for this tax treaty rate. Either one of the following or both: your IRS issued tax individual tax identification number, that is the ITIN, or more relevant information on the ITIN, that's your foreign tax ID number as provided to you by your country of residence. So you have to fill your foreign tax ID number. It could be, depending on each and individual country, it would vary and it would have a different name. I am not sure what countries you are living in, what is that particular name is called in your country, but check out that foreign tax ID number. You have to mention that as well. While filling in a W-8 form, it's helpful to keep in mind that the form generally concerns the type of income you receive from Zazzle, such as royalties. So you also have to mention the royalties. That's important. Much of the information you'll need will be available in the tax treaty between the US and your country of residence, but some countries require a more specific description of the nature of your earnings with Zazzle than others. So it will be helpful to reference the definition of the tax treaty article. So I'm going to leave that tax treaty article in the description box below. Make sure to check it out. It will really going to help you whether you are having any tax treaty, what is that rate, what it is called, a much more depth link is in description box below. Where do I submit my W-8 form? The next important question, that once you have filled your form, where you gonna submit it? I have already told you that you can email the Zazzle, email that form, or either you can send them on the fax. They also have the fax number, or either you can send them on their mailing address. That is, you can send them via their sending actual to the mailing address. So So based on the three, you can send the Zazzle the filled W8BEN form, whether on their email address, sending them via email, via fax, or via mailing address. I'm going to talk about, please note that you will need your correctly filled W8 form to be received by Zazzle before 12 a.m. March 1st in Pacific Standard Time, that's a PST, in order to receive a refund for any payment issued to you in the previous calendar year. Any form received at 12 a.m. on March 1st or later will only be able to receive a refund reflecting the difference between the two withholding tax rates for the current calendar year. So make sure you filled out your form correctly and you send them via email, mailing address, and fax. And once you send them, Zazzle will going to send you an email stating that whether it's correct or not. If it's not correct, they're gonna send you to do the revisions, and they're gonna strictly mention you what's the thing that you haven't mentioned it correctly. So make sure you go back, you done all the things that they need correctly in your form and send it back again to the Zazzle. And then finally, they're gonna send you an email saying that your form has been accepted, it's correct. And that means your tax treaty rate has been applied. That means your W8BEN form has been accepted. And now you're gonna have receiving your payments from Zazzle as being a designer, depending on the tax treaty rate. If you have a one with your, if you have a one, otherwise you're gonna be paying 30% withholding tax rate. If you're a citizen living abroad, then you have to fill the W9 form. And if you need any more information, that make sure you actually contact the Zazzle on their email address. I'm going to leave the Zazzle email address in the description box below. Make sure you contact Zazzle if you have any further question regarding this particular tax treaty or anything like that about the W8BEN form or any other form related to tax. Make sure you contact the Zazzle. They're gonna help you with that. This video will going to help you clear all your doubts regarding the tax related information for receiving the payout from the Zazzle. Hopefully this video have cleared your doubt, but if you have any further doubt, let me know in the comment section below. And I also, guys, I'm not a tax expert, so all the things that I was sharing in this video based from the experience and research what I did on the Google about the Zazzle, and I was talking based on that. Need any financial advice, please contact your tax expert in this area. They're gonna help you. But hopefully what do you think? Thank you so much for tuning in today's video, guys. See you for the next time. Take care. Bye, guys.